Where can I put this, man? It's hard to figure out. I think my computer screen might be too tall because like the way where I'm looking at you, it's gonna be like I'm looking up the whole time too. I was
Yeah,
just thinking.
I've got mine on a tripod right in front of my monitor, and then I slide the window down to where your eyes are just below the micro or just below the camera.
Really?
Yeah,
Shit. Huh.
but it's distracting as
About that.
shit. But it works for
Recording.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'll put your face near the camera, so at least I'm looking kind of at the camera.
Anything?
But I have a big ass monitor. I got a 42-inch TV for my monitor.
Yeah, I got big boy.
Yeah.
Curved. Oh no, you can't even barely see it.
Oh shit, you got a curved monitor?
Inception.
Man, oh weird. I don't like it.
That and then socks on my microphone.
Oh, nice. I did buy a pop filter, but I don't think I need it. It was on Amazon sale for like $8. So
Yeah, I feel like your audio sounded pretty decent. Mine just was like raspy sounding.
it sounded like it was clipping. It sounded like it was just your highs are too high.
Yeah. It looks a lot better now.
Yeah.
Let's see. I can't figure out the.
I'm sorry. No, we haven't even posted a video yet. I mean, it's gonna be all right.
That's true too.
I'll get around to doing that one of these days. Maybe this weekend I'll post one.
I think also I noticed that your chair might have been squeaking a lot during the episode or something like that. It was something whenever it was something on your end. I don't know what it was, but it was making this noise. Like you can hear it in the episode.
Really?
I was able to single it out, like because I was completely muted my microphone just to see if it was me or you, and it was coming from your side. So I don't know
Interesting.
what it was.
I don't know what it would have been. My chair doesn't squeak. Is it like a squeaky noise or like a tapping noise?
It might have been like a tapping-ish noise too.
Because is it like really faint?
Yeah, I mean, it's faint, but you can hear it. Like once you hear it, it's hard not to.
Is it similar to this?
That might be.
Yeah, that's me that's me fidgeting with dice. I gotta find something quiet to play with. My hands. I need something in my hands to play.
That's what it is.
And I've got all this giant pile of D&D dice. Well, the Star Wars role-playing dice right here. So I sit and I fidget with them, and that's what it is. It's the dice clicking. I gotta find something quiet to fidget with.
That's gonna be trouble.
That's funny. I gotta find.
You said the lighting's weird. Does that look better right there?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. You can see it. I'm about to point again. You can see it in the reflection on your left side in the picture or on the display, but it's fine. Don't worry about it, man. Fuck it. I didn't do my green screen.
That?
That's fine.
Yeah, that's okay though.
That's actually my green screen right here. That's my green screen all piled up on a box. Yeah, that's my green screen right here. And this big bow looking thing here, that big white, that's the back of the green screen. So
that's cool. Have you used it for other stuff?
No, just this. So, but I didn't set up tonight. I was making t-shirts tonight. So
with the vinyl?
Yeah, I sold my first 3 t-shirts today.
Really?
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
I'm up 35
That could
bucks.
be your side quest if you wanted.
Oh, well, it might be because I made 3 of these.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So there was a Facebook. Well, I'll tell you. I'll use that as my intro shit. So you lagged out. Are you there?
Yeah, you just lagged out like crazy.
Yeah, you just froze in time right there a second.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, that's weird.
Let's see. Oh, that's my internet. Or you?
Could be Zoom again. That's all right. We're recording on Audacity.
Yeah, so if something like that happens. Did you? I definitely. Did you notice I cut up a few things here and there?
I noticed a couple of things. I couldn't like I noticed the beginning was cut up. I can't remember what else. I noticed that I was like, wait, no, I don't think that was that. So I did notice a couple things, but not terrible.
Yeah, I just got rid of a few extra things. I went through and got rid of some like loud noises and dings
Okay.
and stuff like that too.
Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. It was still an hour and a half episode, right? All right. Did you look at our average
Yeah.
retention, our average listen length on that episode?
No, I haven't seen that.
The average listen length is 13 seconds.
Holy shit.
There's been a couple of people have made it up to an hour, but nobody made it all the way through the episode. Like there's actually, if you go into Anchor and you start clicking on things, it'll start breaking things down for you pretty well. Like even the
That's
geography,
cool.
even the geography, if you hit, it'll show you Maryland. And if you click on Maryland, it'll show you different cities in Maryland that we have listeners. Like you'll see Hyattsville, you'll see Silver Spring. I can't think of the other
Huh.
ones. I can see
Wow,
Colorado.
that's awesome.
There's two in Colorado. There's Denver and somewhere else. It's not Fort Collins, but it's another place in Colorado. It'll show you all that, but it'll show you where people are listening. There's this huge spike at the beginning of the episode, and then it drops off pretty quickly, and then it makes it to about halfway, and then it just goes blop. Like nobody's listened all the way through yet. So
Huh.
I don't know I don't know if that actually means anything. I think like I didn't listen to the whole thing. I lived it, you know. I just listened to probably about an hour of it. And
Yeah.
then I paused it and I never got back to it. I think I was playing Skyrim or something.
I think that's what I did too. I listened to
That's-
about like 45 to 50 minutes or something.
Yeah, I was up into 50 somewhere. And I was like, that's cool. I get the idea. So
Yeah.
whatever.
I think so. Like you said, we skipped the chapter discussion.
Yeah.
And then maybe for the side quests, we had to figure out like a organic way to get into them or something like that. And maybe don't do them back to back. But
Yeah.
like,
I think,
I was-
yeah.
because I was thinking like if we can somehow relate it to what we're like, if there's just like an opportunity while we're talking about something to be like, oh yeah, and that reminds me about this.
Yeah, there was some nice segues last episode. There was a couple of nice segues where it just sort of flowed into one or another. Not the whole thing, but there was a couple spots like that that was really nice. But
Yeah.
I don't really have a side quest. I've got some opening stuff. I could talk about t-shirts. But I don't really have a side quest per se this week. I could make a suggestion for something fun to watch, but that's really about it.
I have something I can talk about, but
Okay. What is it vaguely about? See if we can figure out how to segue into it.
mine's about a graphic novel.
Oh, cool.
Mine's easy to segue into because it's a.
Okay.
I don't want to tell you too much.
Yeah, no. I don't want details. Just a way to slide that in. Slip it
Yeah,
in.
mine will be easy to slide right in there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have anything this week, so I've got nothing.
I don't have much for like what's been going on, so.
Yeah, I got-
I love that.
T-shirts is really all that's been my life last. And playing Skyrim, still playing. I got 80 hours of Skyrim now.
It's not
Or
bad.
not 80. No, I've got. That's not true. I've got. I think I've got 50 hours of Skyrim. I think I'm 40 or 50 hours in.
That's pretty good,
Today was the first day I didn't play when I got home from work.
too. Getting ready.
Yeah,
What is
well,
that in the background?
What's that?
To the side of your head?
This?
Yeah.
That's my mask. I made a scarecrow mask last year.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's yeah. When we were working at the haunted house, there's stuff and everybody makes everything. And I was like, I want to make a mask, and they were like, cool, go make one. So I had to make an armature for my head. So I got Alice. I got one of those painter's masks, basically like a balaclava, and put it on my head, and then had Alice run tape all over my head. Or no, I put on a it was a white balaclava basically, and then Alice used like a roll and a half of tape, and just basically
Wow.
taped my head, and then we cut it up the back, and then patched it, and then I filled it full of expanding foam. So I have an armature of my head, and then after that I made just out of caulk and burlap. I made the Scarecrow mask.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
It looks really legit.
It my buddy Chris went over it with some paint. He airbrushed just some detail stuff in it. I didn't have all the details in it. So
Black details, yeah.
little,
Cool.
yeah, just little, yeah. So that was a fun project last year.
Yeah, that's cool.
If you want to do the opening, the entire opening, and read it really animated, I will, at the end of this, if you send me that, just cut that chunk of the Audacity file out and email it to me, I can finish up the opening.
That sounds good, yeah.
And I can email that back to you tomorrow night. If you can send it to me, if you can cut that chunk and send it to me tonight or tomorrow, whatever, I can finish editing the opening and then get that back to you by tomorrow. And then we should have an official opening for a little while.
I feel like I need to listen to it again to get like the
general. It's just kind of, I don't even have it written
just to hear what you sound like real quick.
Happy.
It sounds so funny with me being like, hello, with you impersonating me. Hello, welcome to.
I did that dull as shit because I thought if I did it really dull, you'd be more inspired to hurry up and record your part. So the very first version, because I did it a couple of times. The very first version was literally going, hello, welcome to the Holograms Media Club. So it was just totally messing around. But I did it like 3 or 4 times. And then if you do it, and if you just just record the whole thing, put a lot of pauses in where it's going to edit out, you know what I mean? Like on the part, just leave an extended pause because we can cut that out of the video, out of the actual cast, and then just use that. So
okay.
But I should be able to edit that up pretty quickly tomorrow at this point. Now that I've said that, I'll screw something up. It did crash on me one time. I lost all my fucking progress one time. It totally Audacity crashed, and it was like, nope, can't open this workable file. It's like, no, you fuck. I had to go back several iterations and open up an old version and re-go through a bunch of it.
Oh, that sucks. Did you download the newest version now?
No, I'm gonna wait until I have this done to make sure, because if I go to the newest version and it doesn't work on this file for whatever reason, then I'm going to have to start all over again. So I'm not going to take that chance. As soon as I finish editing up the opening, then I'll download the newest version.
Yeah, because I guess I'll have to export mine as an MP3 to send to you, because you're not going to be able to utilize my Audacity, I wouldn't think.
Oh yeah, but if you just send me just in an MP3, that's fine, because I can import it as an MP3 and then cut it up from there. Because that's what I've been doing. I've been downloading shit off the internet and turning it into MP3 and cutting it up from that. So that'll be fine.
Okay. That's cool. And then since we're not going chapter by chapter, we'll just have like an open discussion pretty much about the whole rest of the book, right?
Yeah, let's just talk about the rest of the book. And then let's pimp that we're doing Old Man's Army next. And let's see if we can get anybody else interested. I don't know how many people we actually have listening, but let's pick a day and a date that we're going to watch Blade Runner, and just open it up for people too. If they want to join in, they can zoom in too, you know, be like a community movie watch. I don't know who is going to do it or what day is good for anybody, but we can just say, hey, look, on this day at this time, we're going to watch fucking the original Blade Runner Final Cut. Join us and watch with us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun. Blaze and I watched it the other day. I've got some shit to talk about during it. I'm excited about talking about it. There's actually some stuff in the final cut that I'm not sure is in one of the other cuts. I want to go back and watch like the director's cut and see if it's all there or if it's just details that Scott put back in the final cut. I'm curious.
Because how much longer is the director's cut versus the?
I mean, it's in minutes. It's not like hours or anything like that. It's not substantially longer. No, it's nothing like that. the Ridley Scott, and we didn't see it until after we'd watched the movie, but Ridley Scott had a little intro and he was like, oh, I added some little pieces here and there. I did some little tweaking here and there. And I'm just curious if there's just a couple of things in it that I'm curious if are tweaks or if they're just camera artifacts. Either way, it's interesting. I want to go back and watch the director's cut at some point. But it'll be fun to talk. It'll be fun to talk about that. But I think if you can pick a day, I think it's probably on you more than me because I can watch a movie any day of the week. If we're starting around this time-ish, I can watch a movie any day of the week. But I don't have young kids in the house anymore.
Yeah.
I know that's a whole different thing. And you're in the middle of what, trying to remortgage shit also on top of everything else.
Did it. We got it
Did it?
done.
That's good.
Yeah.
Is it good or are you getting fucked?
I got 2.99%.
That's good.
So yeah, we lowered it from 3.85 or 3.95
Oh, wow.
or so.
No shit. That's good.
And got rid of our mortgage. We're hoping to get rid of our mortgage insurance too.
Oh yeah.
Which would be like an extra $250 a month.
Wow.
On mortgage insurance right now. So
right.
we had to have our house appraised, and then we'll see what it comes back. We're hoping that it should be able to appraise for what we think will get us to that level where we can get rid of it. So
right, that'd be cool. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
That's a big chunk of money right there.
Oh yeah, it'd be really.
Yeah. That's the difference
Crime.
between ramen every day and meat.
Exactly. Yeah, we've been having some doodles.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Ramen surprise. Surprise, it's ramen.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it.
We got a shipment of HelloFresh for free, so
that's not. Yeah, that's good at first. Don't fall for that. Don't stick with it. Have you stuck with it? Have you ever done HelloFresh? The first couple of deliveries are really fucking good, and then as soon as you start paying for it, it's like spaghetti, and like it's just nothing. Wonder Bread and peanut butter. They step down, and you end up paying a ton of money for basically fucking spaghetti and pasta and stuff. It's pretty ridiculous.
Oh,
We've done a few
good.
of them.
Yeah.
We did HelloFresh. We did, what's the other one? Blue Apron, I think is one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of them. We've done about all of them. So if you get in and get all the free stuff and then do like the one or two pricier ones and then get out, you make out pretty good. But
Yeah.
you'll notice the longer you stay, the more really basic shit they send you. Like, dude, why
We're
am I
doing this
spending like on mushrooms?
thing now where there's like a guy that used to be a professional chef who started just making meals, and he makes them like every week, and you can pick from them, and it's like they're pre-made, and he makes them for you to like reheat in the oven or microwave.
Oh no shit.
So it's like really, really good, like shrimp pasta,
Yeah.
and it'll be like a side of garlic bread, and he like kind of separates everything, like the sauce and the pasta and the shrimp, so that it's already prepared. You just put it together, and
that's cool.
It's been really convenient.
Yeah. No, cooking sucks, dude.
Yeah.
I used to like cooking, but I don't have the time anymore. I just eat out of the microwave anymore. It's terrible.
That's what's hard to get. Yeah, it's so hard to get the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let me run to the bathroom real quick before we get going.
Yeah, do that.
And, cool. Be right back.
Cool.
Alrighty. Let me see. Let me get over to the email, the stuff that we're saying, or with the intro that you have sent me.
Yeah, I'm really not prepared for tonight at all, dude.
I know. I feel like I was more prepared last time.
Well,
It's okay.
I finished. I did androids. Then well, I guess I finished. I've done Starship Troopers, and now I'm back into the Star Wars book. I'm halfway through the second book of that Thrawn trilogy. So I'm totally like in that mindset. I've totally lost like Blade Runner entirely. I'm like, oh yeah, right. It was good. I got a couple things that I want to bring up. I got a couple.
I can read over my notes real quick just to remind us because I kind of made notes for each chapter.
It might not be a bad idea, actually.
Just for us to kind of get back into the mindset before we record.
Yeah, so we left off at he was at the San
Chapter
Francisco.
12.
Yeah, he was at San Francisco Police Department. He had done. Was it Garland? It wasn't Garland. What was the guy's name?
Resh
Resh
and Garland. Resh.
Oh, it was Garland.
Lasers Garland.
Okay, yeah. And then
And they make their way out of the police station. They head over to Luba. Oh no, wait.
No,
yeah, they head over to Luba and they kill Luba.
Oh,
or
right.
No, they've already killed her at this point. No, they haven't.
No,
they
haven't.
Go over kill Luba.
Because that was the whole. They go over, they kill Luba, and then they go their separate ways, right? I guess.
Resh. Yeah, well, she plays mind games on Resh, making him question if he's an Andy, and we kind of get the idea that the Andys, like when they get pushed too hard, they give up real easily. Like when she's in the elevator,
right?
Deckard buys her that painting, like when they're on their way out.
He buys that
for $25.
Yeah, he buys her that book. Yeah, right.
And then there are,
and this whole time,
Rick's like in the mindset, he's like, I'm getting out of this business. I'll go to Mars.
Yeah, no, Rick wants out, and this is where Resh gets tested, right? They test Resh after they kill Luba, right?
Yeah, and he tests as human.
But we were convinced that he was an Andy, right? I mean, I was convinced he was an Andy the first go around. Like I knew Resh was an Android.
Definitely, she makes you think it, and he's. Yeah. I can't remember what she says specifically that makes you think that, but something.
Just his whole thing, like all of Resh, and then he tells Deckard that basically you got to start banging him. Oh, you got a humidor too. I just noticed you have a humidor down there, right?
Yeah.
I got mine in the other room.
Oh yeah. Gotta keep them fresh,
dude. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So
he says you got to go to bed with him first and then kill him.
And Deckard thinks he's all screwed up. Thinks Resh is completely screwed up for that, right? Like he's just like that dude is fucking whack.
Well, he says that he's a good bounty hunter. Like that's what he's made for. Like he's like, oh, that's a good trick. Like he says something like he can
see in Resh that that's a good thing to have, but he recognizes in himself he doesn't have that, which is part of the reason he thinks he should get out of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Then Isidore comes home from work with food for Pris.
Oh, that's right.
And Irma and Roy Batty show up.
Irmgard and Roy Batty. Yep.
Yeah.
But they show up. That's right.
They discuss their plans. Roy doesn't have this. Well, we can talk about this once we get into it. But Roy doesn't have that same kind of fight or flight syndrome that others have. He's like different.
Yeah.
And Isidore is prepared to take on the bounty hunter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he offers to go get a gun and everything.
Yeah, I have a funny quote for that once we get into it. And then they talk about like the fact that all organic life is sacred and insect has more more worth than they do.
Right, okay.
And Roy lets it slip that they're Andys by calling it saying humans too much.
Right.
Isidore doesn't really care.
No, he doesn't at all, right? Like, I mean, he thinks they're basically alive anyway. He's a real, of all the people, he's the egalitarian of the whole book.
He's just excited to be part of a group.
Yeah.
To be accepted.
Yeah, he's got friends. Yeah.
And Everyone has rabbits. Step up to the great goat class. So the next chapter, Deckard buys a goat,
Oh, right. Yep.
and they talk about how he's like, everyone has rabbits. Step up to the goat class.
I'd love to see you step up to the goat class. And he gets a Nubian. He gets a female Nubian.
Yeah,
What's a
and like his
Nubian?
wife, Aaron even like recognizes like what kind of goat it is.
Yeah.
And to everyone else. I think he goes back and tells Aaron about the fact that he bought the goat. Like he loads the goat up into his car,
Yeah.
takes it home,
Yeah.
and she's all happy about it.
She was mad at first, but he told her it was a surprise. He said, I wanted to surprise you with it. And then he got caught out on that later, right? Like
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's still happy that he got it.
Right.
And then he calls the inspector from there, and Bryant informs him where the remaining Andys are. And his wife is like so happy on the roof that she goes down, connects to the empathy box, and then he takes her place.
Right. Oh, yeah. And then he has a big revelation in the empathy box, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He talks to Mercer directly.
That.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I guess eventually Deckard persuades he leaves after the empathy box and persuades Rachel to help him come down from San Fran to San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
And they have their hookup scene. Talks about how Roy Batty tried to get Andys to share the empathy experience, like trying to create like his own version of the empathy box,
Right.
but it didn't really work. And they go to bed with Rachel. If he goes to bed with Rachel, she'll kill Pris. They make that agreement.
Right. Because he doesn't think he can do it because she looks like Rachel.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Pris tricks Deckard. She has done this. I'm going to kill you. After she does this, I'm going to kill you. Andys give humans. It kind of talks about the idea. We should talk about the idea that Andys give up, whereas humans have 2 billion years of evolution to keep them
right
going, or like to that, like they don't.
They have the fight or flight. They've got that
Yeah.
that survival instinct. Andys don't.
Yeah. And then it just, we know what happens after that. I guess Jay Isidore, you need other people to live at all. Andys give him worth. I guess it goes back to Isidore.
Yeah, it goes back to them, and then
they find out that Mercer's really Al Jura.
Jure, I think. Jure. It'd be Jure, whatever.
Jure, yeah.
Yeah, just some 2-bit drunk. Right. And then he gets bummed out, but decides that it's all okay anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And Isidore has a total trip fucking session, right?
Yeah, I'd like to get into that with you too. I don't still quite know what happened, but
I don't know that anybody knows what happened, but Philip K. Dick, I think, probably knows what happened there. But he had some sort of so JR had some sort of episode. And then so then Deckard goes home, finds his goat is dead, gets the other 2 Andys, has broken a bunch of records.
Well, he kills the other 2 Andys first, then goes.
Yeah, then he goes home and he finds out Rachel's killed his goat. And finds out Rachel's.
He kills the other 3 Andys. He kills 3 of them. Yeah.
Is it 3? Oh, you're right, Chris. Yeah, right.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's yeah. Okay, he kills the other three. Then he goes home, finds out his goat is dead. Then he drives to some desert somewhere, trips out on a Mercer
Oregon.
thing, Oregon, wherever it was, yeah. And then yeah, right, Oregon. And then finds a toad, and it's like a fucking miracle from Mercer. And then he drives home, and it turns out it's clockwork, and that's it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. He goes home and shows it to Aaron, and it's not a real toad.
Right. Yeah.
And she goes to bed.
Yeah.
She's like, calls up the place, like how to take care of toads.
All right. Yeah. Give me some flies. Give me some. Yeah. Give me some
Yeah.
flies and some worms and shit.
Guy like recommends like a kit. She's like, no, we'll be good with
Yeah.
just the flies.
Try to upsell her. And the maintenance,
Yeah.
and she goes for the maintenance program. She's like, my husband really loves this toad. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
Well, and then at some point, Merce, I guess, is some point in there, what's his face? Deckard becomes Mercer or fuses completely with Mercer, and I guess that's during his trip out session.
Yeah. And yeah, I think he. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happens there. I don't know if he becomes Mercer, if he just understands Mercer, or if he gets to the top and that's actually the goal for everybody to do, but he's actually been able to do it when other people haven't,
Yeah.
or at least the people that we've read about haven't. Maybe that's the epiphany that other people are trying to get to through their thing.
Let's talk about this in the
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think, but yeah, so yeah, okay.
because I was gonna start talking and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
we're just
no.
gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oops. I'm just setting up a new Audacity file here. Okay. Let me know when you're gonna start actually like recording in Audacity. We'll try to clap.
Yeah.
Do like 3, 2, 1, clap.
Okay. Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Grab my mouse, hit clap. So it'll be 3, 2, 1, clap. Right? That'll work.
3, 2, 1, clap.
Clap, and then mouse button. Or no, yeah, clap, and then how does that work with the fucking? Oh no, because we're recording already, right? And then we 3, 2, 1. Clap.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You want to
I'll-
already be recording.
Okay. I'm ready to start recording now when you are.
All right, I'm gonna start recording now,
Okay.
and then we can do
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Damn.
Try it again.
Bunch of white boys in here.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, that was pretty good.
You did no, that was not good. That was
No,
really
it sounded
far
good
off.
here. Really?
Yeah, it was really
Okay.
far off.
Okay. Try again.
3, 2, 1.
That was terrible, dude. Hang on. I'm gonna just let me.
How is this possible?
I don't know. That's funny.
Are you stopping this recording?
Yeah, I'm stopping and starting over. Okay. All right, I am recording again now.
Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
God damn it. Here, look, do this. You do it. I'm going to put my headphones on my mic. You should be able to hear your clap, and it should come through on mine. Okay?
You know what it is? I think is Audacity.
I think there's a, yeah,
Okay, yeah. No, not Audacity. It's Zoom. Like there's a lag on Zoom.
I think, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but let's do that. What you just said.
Okay, hang on. Let me start my Audacity over again so I don't have like 45 minutes of shit that you got to sort through.
Okay, I'll do that too.
Okay, I've just started recording again. I'm gonna put my headphones on. After I see you clap, I'll put them back on.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
You see that spike on your Audacity?
I did. It went by really quickly because I have it on a small window, but yeah, it should be. You should be able to
Okay.
find it pretty easily. It's pretty towards the beginning. It's not even 30 seconds in, so you should be able to find it pretty quick.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Dang,
Fuck
that's
it, it
troublesome.
Whatever it works.
Yeah, I was able to figure it out last time without the claps matching up. So
Yeah, this should be a little easier. But
okay. Hello, welcome to the Holograms Media Club. We're Will and Gavin Graham, a couple of cousins that love speculative fiction in all its forms. Books and audiobooks, movies and TV shows, board, tabletop, and video games, collectibles, toys, and more. This all started years ago when we were suggesting so many sci-fi books to each other, we had to make a list. The list is gone, but its spirit lives on. And while we'll focus on audiobooks, we will be talking all geek media. The format is simple. I'll give Gavin a book that I've read. I'll read it, then we'll discuss it. Then I'll give Will a book. And the cycle will repeat. Think of it as a book club for the 21st century, with side quests and rants.
all right, welcome to episode 3.
Yes.
The spoiler alert for today is the second half of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. We'll be dealing with chapters 12 through the end of the book. I think 22 chapters? 21?
Yeah, it's 21 or 22, something
Somewhere
like
in
that.
there. So
Yeah.
chapter 12 to the end of the book. So if you
Mhm.
haven't read it, read it and then come back. If you have read it, listen to our opinions and email us and tell us what we got wrong.
Yeah, definitely let us know what we forgot to point out. I'm sure we will most likely forget to point out one of you guys' favorite part or something like that. So,
We
but
want other opinions.
we're changing it up the format this week. Just gonna skip on over the chapter summary just to get into the meat. Just because I'm so excited to get into it.
Yeah.
It was the book that Gavin recommended for me, and I really loved the book. Being able to finally read the end or listen to the end. We're doing this in audiobook format. It was a pretty good ending. I'd say it was pretty anticlimactic for the most part, but I mean a little bit. I guess.
Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess his writing doesn't lend you to like crazy action scenes or anything like that, but
That's true. Yeah.
I think you can definitely visualize it pretty well though, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it was definitely, the end makes you think a little bit more. He keeps on continuing with all of his ideas of making you question where the line is between human and android, and what constitutes a life and being alive. And I'd say
Mm-hmm.
it definitely makes you think about, like you said, kind of last episode, it makes you think about your own existence.
Yeah.
And kind of question, your place in the universe, and, question, is this reality, a real thing?
Yeah. Well, and there's I can't think of the quote directly, but Deckard at one point, his wife asks him it was something about the truth, and he said it was all true. Everything anyone has ever thought is true, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Which goes back into when we first started this episode 1, well, the 0th episode. Philip K. Dick was, I can't remember what it was called, some like cosmological realist or some weird thing, and it was all about perception, and your perception of reality is real, not reality real. And I think that that's what he was talking about, is that anything that anyone has ever thought is actually true, and that's his world. I don't know that I personally believe that, but now I have some insight onto what that Wikipedia entry meant. So I thought it was interesting. She was like, is that real? Because it's Deckard Mercer. Yeah, in a sense he is. Is he not Mercer? Yeah, in a sense he's not. I thought that was, that plays with that whole reality perception thing. So
Well, yeah, I
it
guess
ties into that.
going into that idea, like what was going on in that last scene where he's climbing up and he's kind of taking on the persona of Mercer, and I guess he's fused with him. Is it actually that he's truly, because he gets help from Mercer, and like Mercer tells him to turn
Mhm.
around, like one of the Andes is coming up the stairway.
Yeah,
Um,
Mercer directly talks to him, or he at least Deckard believes Mercer is talking to him. I mean, I guess through his in his reality, Mercer's talking to him, and then he fuses with the box and he has a conversation with Mercer, right? Which is unusual for an artificial intelligence to transmit out of the box. I don't know. I don't. It could be that maybe everyone has the power to fuse with Mercer on such a direct level once they get up the hill that high. That's or maybe that's the goal for everyone is to be able to get that epiphany moment that Deckard had. Maybe not. Maybe he had a psychotic break.
yeah.
He had kind of a rough day leading up to that. So
Well,
yeah.
yeah, and when he comes back to the apartment at the very end, he's covered in radioactive dust.
Mhm.
So at one point, he even says, like, "Have I become a special?" So
Right.
you're
Yeah.
questioning. He's kind of the narrator of the story. It seems like it's being told from his perspective.
I think mostly, yeah. Yeah.
So you kind of question: is everything that we've even read in the book a reality at this point?
Yeah.
Which is a double mind twist because the whole thing is like, what's the reality between human and Andy and life, and is this a real existence? And then the story is actually being told. You're like, is this even? Did this
Yeah.
even happen? I want to, I'd be interested to see it from a different perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then contrasting Rick's narrative, I think the other narrative of it is Isidore, right? Like that would be the other, I guess the story is really told between those two characters mostly. Um, and Isidore is kind of a similar journey, right? I mean, he melds with Mercer or fuses with Mercer at one point. Or I think Isidore's, I keep putting too many syllables in his name. Isidore's, um, his whole thing is I think he does have a psychotic break. I think he does basically go a little nuts because he starts throwing furniture around, but he's not aware that he's throwing furniture around. And he's talking about being in the deep black pit, I think, while he's still in the
Mm-hmm.
apartment with the Andes. And he's talking directly to Mercer, but Mercer's clearly not there because we can see it from the Andy's perspective for a moment where he's not. He's basically just writhing around on the floor, more or less. Um, so again, we get into this perspective: is he really having a psychotic break? From the outside, probably, but it's from his perspective. And if everything everyone thinks is real, then he really is fusing with Mercer. So there's a duality reality going on at the same time, which I think the ambiguity in that is probably on purpose to keep people wondering.
Mm-hmm.
If it was planned, now I don't know. Philip, we can't ask Philip K. Dick, hey, did you plan to be ambiguous on this and just have everybody make up their own minds, or were you just kind of writing what came to mind and that's the story that's right there? Like, how much effort did he put into making this ambiguous?
Yeah, it makes you wonder. Like, did he just want to tell that story, or did he have
Yeah,
like the deeper meaning in it?
right. Yeah. Clearly, there's some deeper meaning in it. I mean, I think again, his everything everybody has ever thought that was very heavy element in the second half of the book. His personal philosophy. Um, but it was really, I mean, all in all, I like the book. I really like the story, and I like that it was written what 68, 60,
68. Yep.
68. I mean, it's been a few years, and people are still talking about it. It's not just us.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the only people still talking about this book. So, um,
Well, yeah, everything had inspired
yeah,
the Blade Runner movie, and
yeah.
um, I guess I've been looking up some stuff about. There's actually a Blade Runner graphic novel that came out in 2018 that was looks pretty interesting. It was a 12 issue
Hmm.
run that came out, and like the art is very, that neon colors,
Yeah.
like the color scheme is just amazing.
Huh.
And like the scale, it definitely like the, I can't remember the artist's name. I'll have to look it up real
That's
quick.
cool.
But
That could be a lot of fun to
let
look
me just,
into. I know
yeah,
another,
so
go ahead.
here it is. It's well, it's a Titan Comics, and it was written by Michael Green and Mike Johnson. And actually, I think Michael Green also wrote Blade Runner 2049, if I'm
Oh,
not mistaken. So he's got, you know, his hand in the Blade Runner universe already.
he's got cred.
Hmm.
Huh.
And actually, there's another 12-part series that are going to follow the same main character. Her name is Ash, and she's a replicant hunter too. The first 12-part series takes place in 2019, right before Ridley Scott's movie.
Hmm.
So it's like a little bit of a precursor. And then the newest one is 2029, and that comes out in December. So you can pre-order them now. I actually pre-ordered 2 copies. I'm going to have one sent to you.
Oh, cool.
They're only
Awesome.
like $2, so like $2.40 or something like that.
Oh, gnarly. That's cool.
But they're it's cool because the variant, I got a variant cover version who's the same artist as the Upper Deck Marvel anime 2020 that I was talking about
Oh,
last
right,
week.
right, right. Yeah.
Peach Momoko, so she did the variant cover for this issue.
Oh, no shit. That's cool.
It's really cool. There's like, you know, 4 artists total, I think, and 3 of them are variant covers.
Shit. There's
Yeah.
a comic shop down the street from me. I'll have to go down and see if I can find the first batch of this.
That's what I was thinking. I was searching online on eBay. You can find them for like $4 or $5, like in, you know, decent condition.
Yeah,
Some of the earlier issues are a little bit more expensive, but
sure. Well, yeah. I wonder if I could find them in ebook just to read them and then collect them up later.
yeah, I think they are on ebook for sure. I know that
Right.
they're releasing them on that. And then I think it's actually part of the canon. So like it's, you know,
That's cool.
legit
Right.
part of the
It's
story too. So
not just fan fiction.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
cool. That'd be fun. That's really, I want to look into that. I know that there's a British sci-fi comedy called Red Dwarf that was back in the mid late 80s it started. It's one of my favorite TV shows. It's just this goofy, stupid show. But Blade Runner actually inspired them in a way to make that show. And then Red Dwarf season 9 was going to be the movie because they always wanted to make a movie and they never got a chance to make a movie. And they didn't get a chance to make a movie, but they did get a chance to make a 3-part series 9, and it was basically the movie. It was the movie with a week break in between. It's an hour and a half episode essentially, and it almost mirrors very closely a lot of scenes in Blade Runner. It's really funny in the movie, not the book. But it does. It inspires a lot of things. It inspires a lot of people and a lot of discussion and stuff. I'm interested in the graphic novel. I'm gonna see if I can't track that down. Like I said, I'll
Yeah.
probably get the ebook just to read it and then start collecting later.
Yeah, the
That'd be
art's
cool.
really something else.
Yeah.
There's some pre-art that you can see of the newer series, and like the scale. There's one page where the characters are about like a ½ inch tall, and like the building that they're in is just the whole rest of the page. They're in like this justice hall, and
Oh, crazy.
the line work and detail is just, you know,
Right.
incredible.
Huh. That's
So,
cool. Give you a real
yeah.
sense of being in it.
Hmm.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it follows the movie, but the guys that wrote it said that they were like heavily inspired also from the book, and they wanted to tell a story within that same universe, but tell it from like a perspective of somebody completely new. I think
Cool.
in like the second part of like the first series that came out already, she goes to like another like off-world colony.
Oh, no
So they
shit.
said they like,
Okay.
you know, it's the first time that that's ever been shown. They were really
Yeah,
excited to
right.
show that.
Yeah. I
They
hadn't
like
even
didn't
thought
want to
about
show
that, but
too
yeah.
much.
Right.
Yeah. They like tried to keep it a little ambiguous. You know, they didn't want to show everything because they still wanted like you as the viewer to be able to come up with, you know, a lot of like
Right, right.
ideas in your mind and have it kind of be vague still. So
Yeah.
but they still wanted to take it there. And
That's
go
cool.
off world. So
That
yeah,
sounds fun. Yeah, I
I'm
hadn't
looking
even
forward
thought
to
of that.
checking it out.
There is no off world anything. I mean, everybody's pushing you to go off world, but nobody actually gets
Hmm.
off the world. That's nice shot. That'd be cool.
Yeah, he never talks about anything from, you know, off world other than Buster Friendly. And like, I guess what happens with him, Buster Friendly, and Isidore at the end when he has that realization that you were talking about, where he just
Yeah.
goes completely crazy after Buster Friendly's big news about Mercerism. And what do you think about that, and how, I guess, my whole thought is, the Andes have been a ever like a present source of, you can't trust them. So when Buster Friendly tells you that Mercerism is like just a painting, how much can you trust that advice from him? Also, considering he is an Andy, they can't even access, the empathy box. So how do they have like any sort of
Yeah.
detail about what the paint strokes look like? You know how they discuss like when they zoom in or whatever, that it looks
Yeah.
like paint
Right.
strokes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My whole thought was, are they even a source that we can trust at this point,
I don't know.
or are they just trying to mess with us?
I think I think that's a plot hole. I think I think that's just a I think I don't want to say bad writing or poor writing, but I think that's just a plot hole that I think it's a plot hole the Andrews crawled through, saw the brushstroke, crawled back through it, and told everybody about it. Um, I think that they're probably right about Mercer. I think that they saw that Mercer was a sham. I think they wanted to try to bring humanity down a little bit on this whole empathy thing because the androids were even questioning whether empathy was real, right? The androids went into a whole thing about can only take your word for it. How do we know what this whole Mercer thing is? We don't even. The only reason that we know anything about empathy is because you tell us. Why should we believe you? You know. So I think that they're trying to punch holes in Mercerism, and then it didn't work, right? Like I mean, that's the faith of humanity in that um, really is much stronger than look, here's proof, don't believe it, this is obviously garbage, this isn't there, you've been lied to, Mercer's just a sad old drunk and a bit part player, not even a good actor. And everybody kind of went, yeah, yeah, but we can still do it, which is actually, I think, funnier even now than it was in 1968. I mean, religion really is very similar, right? Like, I mean, we were comparing Mercerism to past world religions and kind of how I think it might be just sort of an all encompassing new kind of religion, sort of an Esperanto of religion, just kind of a conglomeration of it all. And today, in the 21st century, we can pretty much disprove every religion there is scientifically, and people still go, I know, but I like the stories. So I think it's maybe even more relevant now, but I think that that's something that maybe Dick was not predicting. I mean, certainly it must have been about the same. I think religion was much more prevalent in the 60s than it is now, but
Yeah. Well, also that connection, I think, too, is the whole, when you're connecting to the empathy box, everybody is sharing,
yeah,
the same
right,
thing. I guess when he finally has the money to go buy his goat, he goes home and takes it to Erin, and the first thing she wants to do is connect back to the empathy box to be able to share
right,
her excitement.
right.
And like the last thing that Deckard wants to do is give away his, happiness.
Right,
It just,
right.
he's such a funny character.
He really is. I got to just keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Like when he, I guess,
Cowboy season.
pretty much any time that he ends up like being in this really serious conversations with people, and I find myself laughing because he always says, "I bought a goat today."
Yeah, he's very one dimensional, right? Like, I mean, Deckard really is. He really is the epitome of keeping up with the Joneses, right? Like, I mean, he doesn't care about anything but how other people perceive him. He's not
Hmm.
particularly jazzed about his job other than it will provide him money to buy a goat. I mean, it was the first thing he did, right? Like you killed three, well, he didn't actually kill three Andes. That's being particular, but he keeps telling everybody he killed 5 Nexus 5s in a day, and he didn't. He killed 4.
Nexus 6.
Resh got 1. Nexus 6. Resh got 1. Right? Like, so let's be honest, Deckard. Let's stop, And I think he knows that. I think he knows that he only killed 4 and not 5 or 6 or whatever it was. He got 1 less. But he didn't care about anything except what he's going to be perceived as. Like, entirely. That's his entire trip. And it's checking the Sydneys. And then he steals the Sydneys. He steals the fresh Sydneys off a guy, right? And it's his entire thing. And then he almost went for, when he was in the Rosen building, they had him bribed with the owl, and he was going to do it. He was going to, under the idea that he was going to get this owl, he was going to turn his back on his job and his career and any honor that he had through his job. He was just like, oh, fucking animal? Yeah, dude. Like, entirely. Like, he was just going to sell out completely for that. He's a very one-dimensional character, and then you have Isidore is on the contrasting of that is incredibly deep character, and he's the chicken head, right? Like, he's the guy. And you'd noticed, you pointed out last episode, how insightful he really is, and how he's picking up on detail that maybe he doesn't have any business picking up on, and nuance that he sees that other people don't see. And he's really the deep character, when really he's the flawed one that's supposed to be just kind of a truck driver and pick up breaking down electric cats. And that's a really, I hadn't really thought about that, but that really is, Deckard is really a very one-dimensional main character, and Isidore is a very, very deep secondary character.
You could say Erin is also very one-dimensional too. The way, like, her motivation is just the animals as well. She's right there with Deckard.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I don't think she's I think, a lot more into herself than, I think her perception of herself is more important to her, because she's completely not happy. She's completely satisfied and willing to be in just a god awful depression for 6 hours and get some sort of satisfaction out of that. Deckard wouldn't do that, but he would absolutely risk his life and the lives of others to get an animal to show off. Both of them are very, very selfish, but in different ways. But yeah, they're very, very selfish. That really is. Until the end, and then she's not selfish, and then she's like buying mechanical flies for a mechanical toad and signing up for a maintenance plan to keep this mechanical toad in top working order because it's important to Rick, which actually I thought was really sweet. I thought that was a really nice gesture. Like, do you really have to feed a mechanical toad mechanical flies? Is that a thing that you have to do? Like, is that, I don't know. But like, an honest question, is that just for shits and giggles? Is that just for, I guess, not necessary, but just as a thing you do to show off to people? But she obviously wanted to get it just so you could feel connected to this mechanical thing.
I mean, it's definitely, like we were saying too, the whole connection of nowadays, it reminds you of social media and how everybody wants to show off, and like they want to pretend that everything is like way better, like just with posting these pictures that make your life look like a Hallmark, card, something like that, versus, what life is really like behind the curtains.
Right.
So that whole thing too is kind of interesting. Whereas, on the empathy box, it was interesting that some people would log on, I guess, to share their sorrows. And I guess it's kind of a anonymous application. So at that point,
right. Yeah.
It's interesting that, nowadays people don't really share their sorrows and anything like that, because most social media is not anonymous. Yeah. So it makes you wonder, somebody out there should create some sort of anonymous social media where people can go on and just vent without, people
There is something similar to that. I actually, I'll have information next episode, but I think there is something similar to that. I think it was a postcard project. Oh, it's just on the tip of my brain. Something very similar to that. People could write in on anonymous postcards, just news. And a lot of it was really horrible, terrible, depressing stuff. Not bad things, but rough stuff. And it was a really interesting, I'll have to look into that. I can't remember the details of that. I'll have to make a note and look that up. There was something about that. It was anonymous, but it was basically like bad news postcards or something. I see. No, you're right. No, I think a lot of, well, you get into Instagram and Instagram reality and stuff where people are touching up their photos and everybody wants the picture perfect life. But then
influencers
and all that. Yeah. I don't even get that. Maybe I'm just that's why I don't go to Instagram. I can't fuck with Instagram. I'm aged out. I'm not allowed there. I can't. It's not my thing. It would be totally hello fellow kids for me to go to Instagram. I got no business being there, but yeah, it's all fake, right? I mean, it's all like even Facebook. I am on Facebook. I'm active on Facebook. I'm not proud of that, but it is the truth. But there is a lot of fakery, I think. And my little friends group isn't. My little friends group will share and we'll talk and everything, and it's all pretty real. But I think as a whole, Facebook really is just people showing off and trying to make their lives look better than they really are. And you're right. I hadn't thought about that, but the empathy box really is anonymous, right? Like you just catch this feeling from some dude that lost an animal, or catch a feeling from some lady that just got some really good news. And everybody shares that, and that's, I don't know, maybe the whole story really is just about people's search for validation, right? I mean, Isidore just wanted to be validated, right? I mean, to the point where
he just wants to fit in.
He just wanted to fit in. He got picked up by androids that ended up treating him like people treat androids, right? I mean, they were abusive to him in the same way that people were abusive to them. Like there was no learning there, but they have no empathy. So I guess they have no cutting up a spider, one little thing at a time, just happy as a clam, just cutting legs off a spider one at a time, just to see what would happen, with no thought of like, that's bad, or not even being able to see that it was upsetting Isidore really bad. Like he was really visibly upset by that. To the point where he
did not care.
No, not at all. They thought it was weird and interesting that it was almost an experiment on him at the same time. So, but
yeah, that's interesting.
They were being really abusive to him, like people are abusive to androids. But maybe the whole story, maybe not the whole story, because obviously there's a lot about empathy and what makes a human human. But maybe a whole nother part of that is validation and our search for validation. Because Rick was just wanting validation through materialistic ends, but he was looking for validation. His wife was looking for validation. Yeah. Rachel was looking for validation.
And then also, I think a big part of it too is, I think cutting yourself down. Like when you're talking about the spider, and it mentions how earlier on, like the spider is not a herd animal, and it's more like an Andy than a human is, and they're cutting the spider's legs off one at a time, just like they kind of do to themselves. If you look at like the way that they don't have any sort of empathy for their fellow Andy. Like as soon as they know that they're caught, or like that their friend is caught, they give it up basically right away.
Right.
And it kind of just is like that mirror between, they don't have the realization like a human would that's happening also, like they're cutting themselves down. I guess a lot of, people do that to themselves though. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. The idea, like, a lot of people are constantly bringing themselves down, whether it be like, like a addiction or something like that you have, or I don't know what else it could be. Like, most issues go back to like addiction, money spending, or drug habits.
Well, or if you're in a good relationship, cheating, and just self. I I know a guy that did that. He cheated himself out of a great marriage, like multiple times, and he couldn't not self-destruct. He just couldn't do it. So he's sleeping on his own couch now. But yeah, that's like yeah, it's not just addiction, but that kind of thing, that kind of, well, I guess maybe that you could say sex addiction, but it's, yeah, but just self-destructive behavior, whatever it is. Yeah.
And that's weird too that you say that, like when it goes to like Deckard and when he ends up finally hooking up with Rachel Rosen
Mm-hmm.
and that whole scene where it's just, that whole scene is kind of weird. Like it makes it, you think that the whole book is more about Deckard's urges, and like it basically is, he has the urge for animals, and he has like that
Right.
urge
Yeah.
to validate himself, and like what he's doing is okay.
Yeah.
Like killing the
Right.
Andes, and he thinks like, hooking up with an Andy is going to give him this, I don't know, outside perspective maybe, so that he's able to complete his task. It's kind of interesting that that's what he needs in order to finally finish. And as soon as he does, it's just like Resh said, like he's able to
Right.
go and take all three out like right away.
Right. Well, and take out the one that he was worried about being able to do. That was the hard one, was killing Rachel or Chris, right? That was going to be the tough one. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it leads just not directly into the book, but was that cheating? Like, would you think sleeping with the robot was cheating? But honest question, asking you, like, what, like, not necessarily that circumstance, but would you consider what Deckard did to be cheating on his wife?
I think so, because, well, A, he didn't tell his wife, so it was something that he felt probably ashamed of. And then
Right.
B, his motivation, he was in it more, like it almost seemed more emotional, like attachment that he had with her. Like he was, I don't know, going over like a checklist before it happened, even like, her legs are like
flat. Her body's
this, and she's
this,
flat, and
right.
she's only 18, but she's, just enough, like that she's
Right.
just good enough. But I think also it was that emotional, I don't know, almost validation that he needed from her, that hunting the Andes down was okay. It just was too emotional for him. And, I think, yeah, if it wasn't, he would have gone back and told Aaron or been okay with it. And
right.
I think too, the fact that, I don't know, it's an interesting idea.
See, like I think he cheated. My feeling is that he cheated because there was an emotional attachment there. I think if I got caught fucking something that I was emotionally attached to, whether it was real or not, I'd be in trouble. If I got caught fucking the toaster, I'd be in trouble, but in a totally different way. You know what I mean? I think I'd be asked to sleep on a couch, but I don't think I'd be served divorce papers. I think there'd be a lot more therapy in my future, but I don't think I'd be asked to move out. You know what I mean? But no, I feel like what he did was cheating, and it made me uncomfortable that he did that. Like I had a discomfort with this guy. Like I don't like Deckard. He's not somebody that I'd want a relationship with. He's not a likable character for me. I can totally see his point of view. I mean, I'm in his shoes for most of it, but I can relate to him, but I don't like him because he's so, well, he's driven by materialism ultimately, right? I mean, that's what animals aren't. He doesn't want animals because he wants empathy. He wants animals because he wants status.
Mm-hmm.
Very materialistic person, and I'm not. I own a lot of toys, but I'm not a materialistic person in the same way. So I don't find Deckard likable. And he's not even particularly, I guess he's good at his job, but he's not a craftsman. He just kind of sort of blundered through it, kind of. Like you can see that.
Yeah, you get that impression for sure.
He just kind of, and he took credit for Resh's kill. He was just like, oh, that's my kill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck Resh, right? I mean, he's in a very android kind of way of just screwing everybody else over for him. and then bragging about it and saying, "Oh, I want to call Holden and tell Holden I just got 5 of these things or 6 of these things or whatever it was." And it was just, I got the one you missed, fucker.
It'll make me feel better.
Yeah, it'll make me feel good to like fucking talk to this dude that's been fucking lasered half to death and he's hooked up to God knows how many machines. Neener, I got the one that got you. And 5 more, bitch. That's just.
He's not relatable at all either. Like, for somebody that has so many complaints about his day-to-day life, the fact that you question the fact that he's even been in like the Andy hunting for so long just because of his attitude. Once he actually does start hunting them down, it's like you're only taking out 6 of them, maybe because they're the Nexus 6 and it's so much more realistic to him. Like before, like the Andys weren't as real, so now it's really making him question like the morality of it all. But
yeah,
just before he was, you'd think that somebody that's been in it for that long would just be like more badass. Like they wouldn't have to call somebody to like tell them, "Hey, I got 5 hits, man. Like, I'm better than you." Like,
right.
You just want him to
or
keep
call
it to
another
himself.
one for help.
Mhm.
Like you think you'd be a little more Harrison Ford about it. But yeah, it's interesting. I did notice a couple of questions that we had last episode got answered. I didn't work out the math, but the air cars go fast enough that Rachel got from Seattle to San Francisco in about an hour.
I started to think about the math. I think it was like when he left Oregon and went to Cali, it mentioned it was 400 miles or something like that. And I did the math. It was like 1,500 miles an hour.
Yeah, so
because
plenty
he
fast.
did that in like 40 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, because Rachel, she actually said that she said something about traffic or the trip. The trip was long but not terrible, which made me think it was probably about an average time. And from Seattle to San Francisco, she said it took her about an hour. So someone out there can do the real math and let me know about that. Assuming it was a straight line, I guess. The Earth is probably depopulated enough that there's probably not lanes. There's certainly lanes in the movie, but there's probably not lanes in the depopulated Earth that we're dealing with. The other one is why are Andys not allowed on Earth? I don't know that specifically these androids were not allowed on Earth, but these androids overthrew their masters and killed their masters, killed their owners to get away from Mars. So they were essentially listed as murderers. So I don't know that all Andys are not allowed on Earth, but these certainly were not. And they were certainly being sought after because they had killed their owners. Because again, Andys are slaves, right? I mean, they're made to be slaves. They're gifted to people that have to move out. And then Pris makes the colonies sound pretty terrible, right? Like there's nothing to do. They all fight over books. They all fight over essentially sci-fi books. Is what it sounds like. But they fight over books so they can have something to do. And it's just these terrible, god-awful conditions that they're living in. And the androids, on top of that, are slaves. They're a slave class. So, yeah. So those 2 questions got answered. One thing that was really weird to me later in the book was when Rachel was in Deckard's car. And I can't remember if it was right before or right after he said he was going to drop her off and kill her. But she was smoking a cigarette, and there was a scene in there where she says, "Oh, a hot ash got on my coat." And then it went nowhere. It was this really weird, disjointed feeling to me. It had nothing to do with anything. The whole rest of the book didn't have a whole bunch of like scene building detail like that. It was just a really weird, disjointed passage. And I cannot figure out for the life of me why it made the cut. It almost feels like it should have been edited out and it just didn't. It didn't lead to something else. It's in filmmaking, it would have been a Chekhov's gun. It's the Chekhov's gun theory is that if there's a loaded gun on a shelf somewhere in that movie, that gun needs to be used, or else that gun is just there for no reason. You take it out. It's there for no reason. You're just wasting film, you're wasting space, you're wasting storyline. It felt like that to me. It felt like there was just absolutely no in there. And that's just a critique on the story in general. I just don't understand why that was. It was just really weird. It felt really out of place.
I think it's the only time that he mentioned smoking too, from what I can remember.
Oh, probably, yeah. That's weird because I just imagined everybody walking around with like an unfiltered cigarette in their mouth the entire movie or the entire book. But yeah, it
They're
was just really
basically
weird.
inhaling radioactive dust
Yeah, right.
all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I guess yeah. If you're
One
living
thing that
on
was
it,
weird
why
to
not?
me, yeah, one odd part that I thought was like that they were wearing these cog radioactive proof cog lead suits,
Yeah.
but then they go up onto the roof and all of the animals are out there.
I-
Are they just chilling out in the radioactive dust?
Pretty much. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought. Yeah, gentlemen wear a lead codpiece, right? Try to keep their and try to keep them going sterile, keep their virility, and yet the
Mm-hmm.
animals that they're hoping to husband. Yeah, because Deckard's neighbor is talking about his mare, right?
Yeah,
And how he can have a foal later, but he's making no precautions, I guess, unless we're to just assume that the animals are in lead lined stables or something. I don't know. It's interesting. I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, no, you're right. There was a lot of talk about animal husbandry and well, not a lot of talk, but talk about animal husbandry and stuff, but no precautions talked
yeah,
about in
little
any
tiny
way. But
plot
maybe that's
holes.
just a detail that got left out because we can just assume that that's the way that is, right? Like
Maybe
that's
they're in like little plastic cases or
yeah, or maybe
something
that's
like
just
that.
not a detail that we need, so he leaves that out. But then you have this weird detail of this hot ash falling on her coat, and she says, "Oh, a hot ash from my cigarette just burned me." But I just what the fuck? Why? What does that have to do with anything? Why is that there?
Doesn't that, well, that kind of leads up to the action of her getting, no, I guess she doesn't get lasered there, does she? Yeah,
No, she
because he
never gets
doesn't,
lasered.
yeah, she never gets lasered. That
No, because
is
then she goes off and
interesting.
kills the fucking goat. No, she never gets lasered. She never. It doesn't. It. I can't figure out, and maybe I'm missing something that's right in front of me. Maybe it's like I don't know, but it just felt really weird to have that in there
Yeah.
on such a purposeful book, on every passage meaning something, and all these deep layers of meaning this and meaning that, and ambiguity here and there. What the hell? What? Why is that in there? Why is that? Did you just have to have 37 words on this page, and that was the way to? I don't understand it. I don't like. I don't. I want somebody out there to email me and tell me why that was in there. Like what that was about. Why was that? Why was that on purpose in the story? Because it was the only thing like that in the entire book. Nothing else in the book stood out like that. There was no spare dialogue in the book. There was no
Hmm.
spare scene. There was no spare anything. It was everything was very. That's why it read the way it read. It read very short, very clipped sentences. Very. I walked in. I want to go. Hey, what'd you do today? I bought a goat. Everything is very purposeful and right to the point. There's no extraneous shit in this whole story, except for this stupid thing with the ash. I got no idea.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he's he's so to the point. Like when he, it was also kind of making me laugh whenever he would go to kill somebody or like their dialogue. A lot of times it would be like, as soon as one of the Andes would find out that he was going to get killed, Rick Deckard would say, I'm going to kill you. And then there would just be this like,
Yeah.
moment of silence or something like that.
Yeah.
The way that it reads, it just makes it feel, I don't know, kind of funny. Like you said, really direct.
It
Like,
just
I'm going to
yeah.
kill you. And then the next scene is he took out his laser and blew his head off.
Right. No, exactly. Well, like when he killed Roy Batty, right? I mean, he was like, "Oh yeah, you're dead next," and then I pulled out
Mhm.
my gun and I shot him. Like, okay, like I mean, I get we're not building tension through that part of the narrative. We're building tension through the narrative through Buster Friendly, and we're building tension through Isidore's psychotic break, if that's what it is. We're building tension through what is Mercer. We're building tension through all these other things. We're not building tension through the action sequences, and I can understand that. But
Yeah,
like you
that
said,
cigarette bud, that
it
didn't,
no,
that
it
didn't
doesn't
make
even
the,
build
should
tension.
not have made the cut.
No, but in like you say, like it's he pulled out a gun and shot him. Like it seems very like I could do that. Like I mean I don't know anything about it. I've shot a gun maybe 3 times in my entire life, and I'm convinced I could take out an I'm convinced I could take out one of these androids because apparently all you have to do is just walk in a room and go, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot you now." Boom, and then shoot him. Like I'm just like so. Not that I need him to go back and change and change the action sequences. It's not important. The action of that is not important to the story, so he doesn't have to put it in, and that's okay. And I understand that, and I appreciate that. I don't like a whole bunch of extraneous dialogue. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch of like exposition. Like we don't need that. We don't need too much exposition, and I appreciate that that's not in there. And you don't have to tell me he ducks. And it's not an action book. It isn't. It isn't an action book. So I'm not missing out on action sequences, but it does come across as a
Leaves it
rather
up to
dull
the imagination.
job. Yeah, no, totally. And it's So I don't know. All in all, I like the book. I like the book tremendously.
Yeah,
I think we should watch the movie. I think we should over Zoom watch the movie together. There's 3 cuts of Blade Runner. The final cut is the one to watch. And I think we should do a movie night.
that sounds good. Yeah, we could do a live movie night and have people, if anyone wants to get on and watch it with us.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out a day. So
that'd be awesome. I want to go back real quick just to Isidore at the end, and just his description of his idea of what a bounty hunter is when he's not even ever known what a bounty hunter. He's never heard of a bounty hunter at this point.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, right. He had no idea they were a thing. Right.
Mm-hmm. And so the 3 Andys are kind of explaining through their discussion. He's just picturing something. So, in quoted in the book, something merciless that carried a printed list and a gun that moved machine-like through the flat, bureaucratic job of killing. A thing that without emotions or even a face. A thing that, if killed, got replaced immediately by another resembling it. And so until everyone real and alive had been shot.
It's actually pretty close, right?
Yeah, it makes Deckard seem like he's the robot, like he's the Andy. Like he's this Terminator going around. He's got this list, just this machine-like.
And when one of them gets taken out, and another one comes right in. Holden got taken out, and immediately Deckard was replaced in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's true. And he did. He comes in and he says, "I'm going to shoot you now," and he shoots him. Right? Like he's not wrong. It's pretty
crazy. It's another Isidore insight
style thing. But yeah, no, it's not action hero bounty hunter, but he is. No, you're right. Isidore is really.
I just love that description. It's like another one of his brilliant, discoveries throughout the book. Like he's just that voice of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I had another idea for another story within the universe too. That would be cool if they would come out with a book or movie or a graphic novel that followed Andy on Mars who escapes. So it starts off like in the Mars colony, and then it follows that Andy's adventure. I mean, somehow it'd be interesting if they could make it so you don't even know that it's an Andy, but
right.
That would be up to the writer. But I just had that written down in my notes as a cool idea that I had, and then I was thinking about like the graphic novel that I looked at, and I was like, oh, if they did a graphic novel, something or other,
right,
it'd be too cool.
That would be cool. That'd be interesting. I'd like to see the Mars colony. I'd like to see what kind of conditions they really are, because you only hear about them. Mm-hmm. They sound great according to the ads, right? Or in the movie, at any rate, they're all like, "Hey, go to the off-world colonies. It's awesome." But then, according to Chris, it's all just fucking terrible. Huh.
That does make you wonder too. Yeah, are they just shipping people off, and are they really even giving them Andys, or are they just like, I don't know.
Well, some people must be getting some Andys, because I mean, the 6 we ran into escaped from their owners, right? I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
So I mean, some people are at any rate. Maybe not everybody's getting one, but some people are. Yeah. This is going to lead into Brazil. Have you seen Brazil?
No, I have not.
Okay. That's a very, Blaze and I watched. I know we're going to watch. We'll do a streaming watch of Blade Runner, but Blaze and I snuck it in this last weekend because he wanted to rewatch it. but we were watching it and I realized it's very similar to Brazil. Brazil is a movie by Terry Gilliam, was the American guy in Monty Python. He's the guy that did all the animation of Monty Python. He did Brazil. He just recently finally got to do Don Quixote, which goes into this whole giant story. He's been trying to make that movie for decades, and it's been cursed, but I think he's actually finally managed to do it. He did Time Bandits. If you've seen Time Bandits, that was his.
I think back in the day.
Yeah, that's a good movie. That's worth
Yeah.
watching. We watched that not too long ago. That's a good movie. Very good 80s movie. But it's a very dystopian future. It's not like Blade Runner, because Blade Runner is the Earth has been abandoned, but it's very dystopian future. It's about government too big for its overgrown government, and what can happen with unchecked capitalism, more so than Blade Runner. But it has a very grungy feel to the planet, to the Earth. It has this very grungy, gross feel. So that's one you should try to sneak that in, especially if you've never seen it. That's another one of my favorite movies. That's a really, really good movie. There's several versions of that out there too. Gilliam's.
Makes me want to watch Total Recall. Like whenever they go into the empathy box.
Yeah.
Like
well,
just-
that was Philip K. Dick, right? I mean, that was him. We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. That was his story. They took that and went with it, and that was another. Yeah, absolutely. That was him. So.
Also, I want to get into some of his other books. I know he wrote Ubik, and what's the other one that you were telling me about? It's in the top 100 sci-fi books.
Scanner Darkly.
Scanner Darkly.
Scanner Darkly. That's a good one. That's one that goes really big. Total Recall, or We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. It's a good one. That's worth reading. All of his stuff is worth reading, right? Like, I mean, he's one of those authors that's just like, you're not going to get a bad one. They're all good, but some are more
That's what I'm excited.
well known. Yeah. And they
A
all
whole
seem
new
to be
world
fairly,
of books.
and they all seem to be fairly short, right? I mean, like, there's a lot to talk about in Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. But again, it's a 200-page book, which is not a small book. It's not a novella, but it's certainly not a big book, right? I mean, it's not some 800-page tome like Dune or something like that. I mean, it's a respectable page count, but it's not huge. You can read them all, and they're all pretty well about the same length-ish right in there. So if you can bang that out in a couple of days, you can bang out any of his other stuff in a couple of days. It's all worth reading. I don't remember. I read a lot of his stuff back in the day, a long time ago, back when paper books were still a thing. If you kids can remember paper books.
I love the smell of a good paper book in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, bookstores, man. Bookstores are fun. Used to be a really great used bookstore within walking distance to where I live right now, but it's been gone for years. They moved. They didn't close down, they just moved, but it used to be really fun. Used bookstores have their own smell. This place is cool. It was a converted house. So all the different rooms were different sections. Like this room was all military history, and then that room was all nonfiction, and then that room was all science fiction, and that room was all westerns. It was really wild. It was pretty cool. It was neat. It was just packed. All the hallways were all bookshelves. It was crazy. It was neat. It was a good store.
Nice. Bet some ghosts lived in there.
Probably. Well, some really weird dudes worked there too. It was cool. It was a good store. Right in downtown Silver Spring. It was cool. But yeah, anything you read by Philip K. Dick is worth reading, and they're all fairly short. You can bang several. But yeah, Scanner Darkly is a really popular one. Remember It For You Wholesale is really popular. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is probably his biggest known book.
Yeah, with Blade Runner, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'd say my homework for next week will be watching the movie. Hopefully we can set up a meeting, I don't know, between this week and a couple of weeks from now, before we record next would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So we can just bring that up, talk about any, opinions that we have with it.
Right.
Really.
Yeah. It's very different. The movie's very different than the book. Very different. Very, very good in its own right. But very, very different.
Just inspirational.
Yeah, just totally inspired by. Which actually, apparently, Blade Runner was taken from a story by William S. Burroughs. he wrote William S. Burroughs, who wrote Naked Lunch and did a tremendous amount of heroin. He wrote something called Blade Runner. They liked the title of it. They actually licensed the title of that and used that for the movie. It had nothing to do with his book in any way, except that they liked the title. That was it. They just thought the title was cool. So they nabbed it. So yeah.
It is a cool title.
It is a cool title. Yeah, no, it totally worked. And I've never read that. I did read Naked Lunch back in the day, but I never read Blade Runner. So maybe I'll track down William S. Burroughs' Blade Runner and see what
I can remember back in the day, like when I used to think of the name Blade Runner before I had ever seen the movie, knowing Harrison Ford as Han Solo and everything.
Yeah.
Just being like, oh, I can't wait to watch this movie. There's
Yeah.
floating cars and like laser beams and these big pyramids and
Yeah.
like this atmosphere with these huge buildings. And I just remember being so like awe-struck by like the scope of it at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't even really understand the story really back in the day.
Sure.
First time I read it or watched it, but
Yeah.
just the visuals,
Yeah, no,
were
totally. Yeah. I mean, Ridley Scott
worth
can
the
build a
price.
universe. Ridley Scott can build a world. That's for sure. He can really, that's one thing he can do. He can fuck up an Alien franchise. He fucked that franchise up bad, but he built a beautiful world. I'll give him that. He can do that.
Knows how to start it up.
Yeah, no, he totally did. Well, I mean, he did the first Alien, right? That's another favorite movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was him. Did a fantastic job with that. But it was the last two, Prometheus and what was the other one? Prometheus and Covenant.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have been made. They were terrible, but very pretty movies. The cinematography was fantastic in it. The universe was really interesting. It's just a shit movie. So.
Yeah, just the storytelling.
Oh God, it was brutal. Oh man. All right, so is that about it for Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Have we gone over that? Is there any other detail or comment?
I think that's about it. Yeah, for this week. I think we're wrapping it up on that.
Okay.
Android's Dream of Electric Sheep. I'd say I give it a certified seal of approval on my end. It was definitely a fun read to get into. It's funny. Sometimes you watch movies and you know that there's a book or you've heard of the book, kind of like Jurassic Park or I can't think of anything else right off the top of my head, but like you think of these movies and you're like, oh, the book, like
yeah,
the movie's so epic. Like you've always known the movie, you see the movie first. Going back and reading the book and actually seeing like where it came from and what they took out of that book in order to create the movie, it's really cool, especially with Blade Runner, knowing like that they completely kind of birthed cyberpunk.
they did. They did that. That's a thing. That was pretty cool, right?
And they did that without the book. I feel like like the book didn't talk really. The most cyberpunk thing about the book was the flying cars. So like you said, the movie's probably way different.
Yeah.
It's been so long I can't really truly remember, but I'm looking forward to seeing that
the
world.
The book is not a cyberpunk book. I would like the movie is basically a noir book. I mean, it really is. Like it's a noir detective story. It's not even. It's like people say Star Wars is sci-fi. Star Wars isn't sci-fi. Star Wars is an opera. It's an opera that happens in space, but it's not sci-fi. So, and Blade Runner, the book, I would say is sci-fi, but the movie is not. It's noir. It just happens in a dystopian future, but it's a totally different. But it did birth cyberpunk. But the book, I would not say is cyberpunk. That's William Gibson. If we want to get into cyberpunk books, that's Neuromancer. That's that's the birth of cyberpunk fiction, and quite literally the birth of the term cyberpunk. Is William Gibson.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. No, Gibson. I love William Gibson. I love his work so much. He's so fucking cool. Like, he's just so fucking rad. I really wish that somebody out there could do justice and make his books into a movie, because he's got basically 3 trilogies. And The Sprawl, The Bridge, and something else, the later one. They're so good. the universe is just so well built, and they're just so incredible, and the stories and the characters and the detail and just all of it. He's so good, and somebody's going to get a hold of his book and just fuck it up. It's just going to be terrible. And speaking of that, actually, that I didn't think I had a side quest this week. I do. I don't think I mentioned it last week. Cowboy Bebop. Did we talk about Cowboy Bebop last week?
No.
Okay. So Cowboy Bebop is an anime TV show that is 26 episodes long and a movie that was mediocre at best. The TV show is one of the best anime shows ever. It's insanely popular. Everybody loves it that sees it. It's really good. The music is absolutely to die for. Watanabe did it. He's really big in Japanimation, if we still use that term. It's a fantastic series. I fully recommend it if you haven't seen it yet, and if that's your jam in any way, even just a little bit. Phenomenal series. Really good series. The movie's not bad. But yeah.
What's the overview? Like what? It's just like a, like a 20 word or,
It's a couple of guys.
word.
A couple of guys are bounty hunters. We've opened up space travel intergalactically, I believe, at least within our solar system. It's got to be intergalactic at this point. A couple of guys, they're partnered up, and they're bounty hunters. One is Spike, one is Jet. Jet is a retired cop. Spike is a retired criminal. They go around and they have adventures. They end up with a couple of other people and or beings on their crew. No aliens, but a couple of other people in their crew. And then it gets very heavy into Spike's backstory. It really sort of centers around Spike Spiegel's backstory. But even the sort of Monster of the Week episodes where they're just out having an adventure are really good. You get a little bit of Jet's backstory, and then the other characters, you get into their backstory a little bit, but it really sort of centers around Spike. It looks as though Netflix is going to make a live version of this, which as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Then I saw that Netflix was doing it. And I was like, no, don't. But they do have, Watanabe is on, I guess he's a consultant on it. And from what I understand, the original musical director is going to be doing the music, which it actually stands a chance of being okay if they have those two things. So, but definitely, if you haven't checked out Cowboy Bebop, it's definitely worth checking out. It's worth going out of your way for at least the first 3 or 4 episodes and see if it grabs you. It will, but see if it grabs you after 3 or 4 episodes. But really good.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Really,
that sounds cool. I've never watched it, but I've heard the name, so
yeah, no, it's familiar. Totally, it's great. It's really good. I took it down when the movie came out. It was very limited run. Like, it was not in every movie theater, right? I mean, who the fuck is going to go see a Japanese cartoon, right? Like, nobody. Me and like 3 other guys, right? I took a day off of work. I was working for my dad at the time, and I said, I need the day off. And he goes, what are you doing? And I was like, going to the movies. There's a movie that's come out. It's playing 3 days in DC. I've got 3 days to see it, and that's it. And I'm gonna go see it one of these days. And that's what I'm doing. Call it a sick day. Call it whatever you need to call it. I don't care. I'm going to the movies. So it was good. It was funny. He was like, huh? Yeah,
what was Uncle Gary's reaction to that?
Incomprehension. What kind of movie is it? It's cartoon, Dad. It's cartoon. It's a Japanese cartoon for adults. I don't know what to tell you. Like, he never even watched The Simpsons. I don't know what he had against cartoons, but he never even watched The Simpsons, I don't think.
No, he was always like a movie guy. I remember he always had a movie like from Blockbuster.
Oh, huge movie guy. Movie, TV. We'd talk TV for a long time. He'd be giving me show recommendations. He always had at least 2 books going, always. Up until the day he died, he had 2 books. We used to have to take him books. And
that's cool.
Dying in a hospital, we were bringing him books every other day. We just tearing through books.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah, mad reader, prolific reader, read everything. Yeah, he'd read just nonstop. He hooked me up with so many authors. He turned me on to Elmore Leonard, Michael Crichton. I can't even think of how many people that he's turned me on to. Kurt Vonnegut, I'm sure. No, that was my mom. My mom hit me into Kurt Vonnegut.
Wow.
Kurt Vonnegut and Tim Robbins. Tim Robbins? Tom Robbins. Which one is? He's an author and an actor. The author.
Tim Robbins, I think, is the actor.
Okay, and it's Tom Robbins and Kurt Vonnegut. My mom hit me too, but my dad told me about Elmore Leonard. He got me into Dave Barry. when Dick Barry was still writing his column, and then he wrote a book. Yeah, big reader. But yeah, big TV. But he didn't do cartoons. When we dropped our kids off here, he'd watch cartoons. But it was funny because there's so many good cartoon movies, like really good ones. I could recommend a shit ton of good cartoons. I got Grave of the Fireflies. If you've never seen Grave of the Fireflies, I can guarantee you will cry if you watch that movie. If you don't cry at the movie, it's a movie, it's a cartoon, and if you don't cry, you're not human. It makes me cry every time I watch it. Like every time
You
I watch
might have
it,
no
I cry.
empathy.
You may be an android. Yeah. No, it's good stuff. But yeah, he never watched a cartoon. So he when I went to go see the Cowboy Bebop movie, he did not understand that. It was not. He didn't tell me no. He was like, whatever, your vacation days, that's cool. But yeah, he did not get that. Although, to be fair, most of my friends didn't get that either. So
it's definitely a niche hobby, I'd say, or a subject.
Less so now than then. I mean, this has been, I'd have to look it up, maybe 10 years anyways, 10, 20 years maybe, could be 20 years. But yeah, it's a little more accepted now than it was. Although now I guess you get called a weeaboo. So
geek culture is definitely the norm, I'd say, more so now.
It got popular.
We're proud to be geek.
That's right. Yeah.
Coming out of the closet.
All right. So next book.
I have.
I've
challenged you.
What do you have?
I've challenged you with the next book. We talked about it the first episode.
Oh yeah.
Episode 0.
Episode 0, the 0th episode. Yep.
Yeah. John Scalzi's Old Man War.
Old Man War. I've read it. Yep. I'm ready to talk about it, but we have to wait an episode. So.
And that is everybody who is listening. That's your objective.
That's your objective. Read Old Man's War or listen to or whatever. Old Man's War by John Scalzi. And very basically, I liked it. I'm excited to talk about it. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was good.
That's pretty cool to know.
Yeah. So
glad it wasn't a dud.
Yeah, no. It wasn't my favorite book, but it was a good book. It was a good book. It's first of I believe 6 in a series. If you want to go down that path.
It's
having read the first.
I've read them all. They're pretty good.
Right. Yeah, but having read the first book, I feel like you could stop at the first book if it doesn't grab you that way. So don't be afraid to grab and just read the first book and see where it takes you. You don't have to feel like you've bailed on something big and epic. Read the first book, join us in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk about that. And then I think we already have our book after that, right? But I guess we should stay quiet about that for now, right?
Yeah, it's related to Old Man's War in a way.
Yes.
But yeah, we won't spoil that for now.
Just keep that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, keep it under wraps. But we do have a book, and then after that, we'll have a couple more challenges. I already have a few, but I know for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I have a feeling I have something harder coming up. Old Man's War was not androids. It was not.
I don't think it's.
But it didn't try to be. It didn't try to be. It didn't try to be the same. It was It was a very different book. So. That's it, right?
We'll get into it next episode.
Totally. Absolutely looking forward to it. Yeah. What else? Anything else? We got any other homework?
That's it. I think just watch Blade Runner.
Watch Blade Runner.
Maybe we'll talk about 2049 also. I'm going to try to squeeze both of those in. I ran out of time this week to watch them both, but I'll do both of those.
That was actually Blaze wanted to watch 2049, and we're both such box set people that we can't just watch 2049. We have to start with the first Blade Runner to where we can get to.
That's what we did.
Yeah. That's wow.
That is the way.
That's it. That's how. Did I tell the X-Files story? Have I told the X-Files story yet?
I don't think so.
So Alice and I, a number of years ago, were sitting around on Netflix one day, just cruising through Netflix, because, I mean, you don't actually watch Netflix, you just scroll through the menu, right? Like, that's what you do, right? And I saw that the new X-Files movie had come out, and I said, oh shit, the new X-Files movie came out, right? And she was like, oh yeah, I'd never seen that. And it's like, you could hear the record scratch. What? What do you mean you've never seen the X-Files? Well, I never watched it. It was popular, and I know, and I had some friends watch it, but I never watched it. but let's watch the movie. I'm really interested. I said, no, we can't. We can't do that. So it took a little while, but I tracked down the pilot and we watched every episode in order, starting with the pilot, all 9 seasons in the original movie, before I'd let her watch the new movie. So it took some tracking down. I wasn't able to track down all the episodes. So at one point I had to start buying the box sets of the seasons so that we can continue. So then my DVD collection at that point had all these burned DVDs for like the first 3 episodes or for the first 3 seasons and all these tidy box sets after that. I'd already seen them all. But it was like, no, we need to go back. So
You got to go back,
bought them all and had this.
buy them all. Yeah.
And then I swear to God, like the next year, Netflix just released all of them. And they were all in there for free. It was like, motherfucker.
I was going to say, I thought I watched them on Netflix.
Oh yeah, no, they did. They did like a year or 2 years later. They released them all. So right after I finished buying all 9 seasons and 2 movies.
If only she knew what she was getting into.
Yeah. But X-Files is so good, right? Like I love X-Files, dude. I love that show. I have an X-Files tattoo.
Really?
I have the if I can get it right there. The
Oh,
X-Files
that's
X.
awesome.
I have the X-Files X, which I got before the new release of the TV show. I got that before that. It wasn't when the new episodes came out. That's how big a dork I am.
Well, the truth is out there.
The truth is out there. But yeah, so that's a box set guy. That's me being a box set guy. So I can't just watch 2049. So it becomes a problem sometimes. Like Blaze will say, "Hey, you want to watch Alien?" Sure. And then I'm sitting down for the next 5 movies.
It's good to go back and watch those, you know.
Yeah, some of them are pretty bad. Alien was great. Aliens was good. Alien Cubed was okay. Alien Resurrection was pretty bad. And then the last 2 were just abysmal. Right? I mean, like, they were bad. The last 2 were pretty bad. Right? Like,
I like the actress, Rooney Mara, or Mooney, what's her name? The one from Prometheus, the main lady in that. I think she's pretty good. She was the Dragon Tattoo, Lisbeth Salander.
I can't remember which one was Covenant and which one was Prometheus. They were both so terrible. I can't even differentiate between the 2. Is she the one that was it the first one or the second one?
First one.
The first one. Okay.
She's the one that gets the alien in her tummy at the end. She's giving birth.
Right.
Or she has a C-section or
right.
whatever you call it.
That was a weird scene. That was a weird scene. Like that
scene and the following scene where she didn't run to the left or the right out of the way of the falling spaceship.
Yeah. But the fact
had some
the fact that she was running literally hours after having an emergency C-section was just like, I mean,
it was minutes, like 10 seconds after.
Like, yeah, that movie was so bad. That movie was so fucking awful.
But that doesn't negate the fact that I like her as an actress.
No, totally. No.
She's very likable.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, she was. Yeah. No, she was okay. Yeah. I questioned so much about that movie. God, so many questions. And then the other one was worse, right? That was Prometheus. Covenant was even worse.
Covenant was.
So Prometheus, that was the one. Prometheus is the one where you had these 2. You had the geologist and somebody else had a holographic 3-dimensional map of the caverns they were in with direct communication to the ship, and they got lost. Right? That's what they did. That's a thing they did, right? And then they came across some alien and basically like hugged it, took off their helmets and like started rubbing it, like got all up on it and were like, "Hey little guy."
They like looked down at I think that looked like a alien cobra.
Yeah.
Tried to pet it.
and the reason they were separated from everybody else is because they were afraid of this spooky dark cavern. And then they came up against an actual
walked
spooky,
into that.
They walked into an alien and picked up an alien thing, and we're all like, "Hey, little guy, what's going on, buddy?"
Yeah, where there are little eggs all around and a statue and everything.
After getting lost,
scary at all.
While having a holographic map like in the palm of your hand, you had a completely I don't know, man. Whatever. I'm sure
that's good writing right there.
I'm sure somebody. Well, like I said, Ridley Scott can create a universe. He just can't write a story anymore. But he said as much. He actually said as much. He said he doesn't care about plots as much as creating the world. He wants the world build. He doesn't care about plots. He actually said that, which is, I mean, great. You know what you enjoy doing. That's awesome. I'm glad you're able to find your passion. I'm really legitimately happy that you can do that. I'm glad that you're in a position where you can do that. Can you stop fucking up my favorite movies? Like, can you do that somewhere else? Go do that to something I don't care about.
Make another universe.
Yeah, just go make another universe somewhere. Go in a corner and make a universe. Please don't fuck anything else up. So, I don't know. Rumor has it there's going to be one more. There was the original rumor there was going to be 3 more Alien movies. There was going to be a final trilogy. It was going to be the prequel trilogy, if you will. So, but I think the first 2 did so poorly and were received so poorly, they probably aren't going to get greenlit for a third. Which,
Yeah.
frankly, good. Like, unless he gave it to somebody that really did it and somebody that really cared for it. But man, oh well. So
Yeah, it's just a shame because you can just imagine where that story could have gone, you know.
oh my god, the original script for Prometheus apparently was absolutely phenomenal. Like the whole scene with the C-section and everything made so much more sense. It wasn't as weird or disjointed. It went through several different writing people, and the one guy apparently just wrote a killer, and it's floating around somewhere. You can find the original script, not the original script, but one of the versions of the script. You can find it, and apparently it's phenomenal. It's really, really good. But it's not the movie they made. That's not what they did. Which, and Blaze and I get into this. He likes them better than I do. I think they're both terrible movies. He likes, I can't think of which. Maybe it's Prometheus. He likes slightly more than I do. If they weren't connected to Alien at all, they wouldn't have been bad. Prometheus would have been a serviceable movie if it didn't have anything to do with the Alien franchise. If it was just a monster movie, it would have been pretty good. But the fact that they try to tie it into the Alien franchise is, I think, part of what makes it so bad. Like they're shoehorning in other universes just to see what can happen. Like Star Wars is guilty of the same thing, just nostalgia boner shit, you know, just hey, throw everybody into it, and people will get off on it because they liked it when they were in that other movie.
Well, that's the problem when they just try to capitalize off of an already established universe. It's like, oh, it did so well. Anything that we write is going to do amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like you just wrote a complete shit story, and you had 30 books to write from that were amazing. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And, I mean, you've got this whole universe, and all creators and everything else all out there that can totally handle this. And you just like Star Wars is so bad at it. They throw everybody in it. Like they just put everybody in it, just for no reason. Ponda and what's his name were in Rogue One. Why? What the fuck? Why? Like, for what? Why were they in there?
Who was it?
Ponda, the guy that the 2 dudes that got in a fight. It's the Mad Doctor and Ponda, the guys that got in a fight with Luke and got his arm cut off by Ben in A New Hope, that were in the cantina in Mos Eisley.
It's just fan service.
But that's not even fan service, right? Like that's not fan service. Fan service is throwing something in that's really kind of like only fans are going to notice, you know, or like a little side kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know, like a Millennium Falcon in the background kind of thing. That's fan service. That's throwing 2 characters from 2 incredibly well-known characters, shoehorning them into a movie onto a different planet, moments away from when they're supposed to be on Tatooine. Like literal moments away. Like they don't have time to get from this one planet to Tatooine. They're like on their way to Tatooine. What the fuck are they not doing on Tatooine? Why aren't they on Tatooine doing their fucking jobs on Tatooine, right? Why are they even there? And then it just makes no sense. It's like, how small is this universe that we keep running into the same characters? But then you get into the whole, like, how many black people are in the Star Wars universe, right? Like 2? Like, really? I mean, if like,
well, they have aliens that are green and blue,
and 2 black guys. Like that's, you know, and like 1 woman apparently, you know, or 2 women. There's just, I don't know, but yeah, it's that whole nostalgia boner thing. And I think if the Alien franchise had just made Prometheus and just didn't make it about Alien and didn't try to shoehorn Alien into it, it would have been a passable monster movie.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I don't know, whatever. I'm not bitter.
Yeah. Not at all. They don't need their money. They didn't deserve that.
Yeah. I don't think I paid for it. I think I watched it streaming. So, I mean, I guess somebody's, whatever it was on, whatever service, Amazon or whatever, they paid for it. So I paid in some way or another. I paid them money for it. So.
I definitely saw it in theater. Yeah.
I didn't go to the theater to see it. I knew not to do that. So.
Weren't too excited. The previews were definitely.
The previews look good.
They look good.
I don't watch previews. I won't watch trailers. I don't watch previews. I did watch the Dune preview or the trailer. I will watch that. But I know that story. They're not going to surprise me with some element of that story that I haven't seen before. I mean, I know that story really, really well. But I don't watch trailers. I don't like trailers. I don't like. They show me stuff I don't want to see, and they tell me details that I don't want to know yet.
Well, especially nowadays, like they show the whole entire movie.
Dude, it's so bad. You get everything spoiled. Everything gets spoiled at trailers. Blaze gets caught all the time watching Godzilla stuff. Because they show you all the good stuff. And he's learned, but then he'll watch a kaiju channel on YouTube and some guy will just start showing stuff from the trailer with no spoiler warnings. He got spoiled for the last one. Some asshole just threw it in there with no spoiler warning at all. So, oh well, shit happens. You can't watch nothing.
That's what you get for going on YouTube.
I know, right? Don't go to. You just got to keep blinders on.
Yeah, it's really difficult. It's like watching a sport, like your favorite team's on, and you're out at, at a wedding or something like that. You gotta completely avoid all social media or
just nothing.
Don't talk to anyone.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I can't think of anything else. Can you think of anything else?
No, I think that sounds like a wrap it up. It's definitely been a great first book, I think, to start off things and get us into the mood for sci-fi. We're definitely going to get better at our commentary and, trying to figure out how to maybe structure the whole podcast in a way that makes more sense and is a more enjoyable listen for everybody. So, try to stick in there with us, and things are going to evolve. And we do want to have, a lot of interaction with, our listeners. So, if you guys have input, let us know, comment on any platform you're listening to, do this and don't do that. Listen to this book or,
Yeah, totally.
Read the damn books. Don't listen to them. That might be harder, but we can always get ebooks. So, that is.
I'm just going to listen to it and tell you I read it.
That's what I was thinking too.
I'm not,
It is 2020 after all.
It's the 21st century.
Give it the times.
I don't have cash anymore either. Somebody tried to give me cash the other day. I was like, what is this? I don't even know what this is. First off, it's dirty. I don't want to touch it. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Don't give me anything. Don't hand me anything. Don't touch me. I don't even know how to use it.
Sucks to be a homeless person right now.
I don't even know how to use this. I tell all the homeless people I can Venmo you. I don't know. I don't have cash. I'm sorry. I don't have that ability anymore. Do you have Venmo? You got PayPal? I'm willing to give you money. I just I can't.
Gotta PayPal you, bro.
Yeah. You get Bitcoin? I just send you Bitcoin? I don't know what to do for you. I'm sorry.
A couple Bitcoin, man.
Well, not a couple Bitcoin.
I'll take a couple of Bitcoin if you're just handing them out to the homeless.
Handing them out. I've heard rumor that in San Francisco the homeless they take PayPal.
That's the way to do it, man. You gotta get with the times.
You gotta get with the times. Yeah. No, totally. That's some dude QR code written on a box. I don't know. So, all right. Well, this has been episode 3. Right, third episode. This has been the third episode.
Yep.
And email us, get us on our socials. It's all there. We don't have any followers on Instagram yet, so somebody start following us. Oh no, we have one. We do have one follower on Instagram. It's me.
I haven't even posted anything, which I'll post something for you to look at. Okay. I said I would post pictures last episode.
Right. Okay. Post pictures of your
failed to do that, so I will get on that.
We got to get
Yeah.
we don't even have a photo on there yet either. So
Cool. Well,
got work to do.
this has been the Hologram Media Club podcast, and we really appreciate all listeners, and we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.